The night arrives wrapped in cold. Snow drifts slowly from the sky, soft and quiet, settling on sidewalks already glowing with Christmas lights. Store windows shine with gold and red, reflecting ornaments, wrapped gifts, and smiling faces. Somewhere in the distance, holiday music plays cheerful, familiar, but muffled, as if the joy belongs to another world. Cars pass, footsteps hurry, and the city moves fast, eager to get home before the cold sinks any deeper. Near the edge of a busy shopping street stands a small black boy. His jacket is thin. His shoes are worn. He keeps his hands tucked deep into his pockets, shoulders pulled inward, trying to make himself smaller against the wind. He's not here to shop. He never is. He's just waiting, watching, surviving another winter night the best way he knows how. That's when he hears it. A sound that doesn't belong in all this celebration. Crying. A little girl stands near a lamppost, tears streaking down her face. One mitten hangs loose in her hand, torn at the thumb. She keeps looking around, spinning slowly, like she's hoping her world will suddenly make sense again. But it doesn't. She's lost. People pass her. A man checks his phone. A woman tightens her scarf and looks away. A couple slows down for half a second, then keeps walking. Some glance. No one stops. In a crowd full of adults, no one seems to have the time. The boy notices everything. He takes a step forward, then stops. His stomach is empty. His feet are numb. He has his own worries that don't pause for Christmas. Helping her means staying longer in the cold. It means trouble. It means being noticed. He hesitates. Then the voiceover cuts through the noise, low and steady. On the nights meant for miracles. No one noticed the child who needed one most. The camera lingers on the boy's face as he looks at the girl again. And the question hangs in the air, heavier than the snow. What happens when the poorest person in the room is the only one willing to help? His name is Marcus. Nothing fancy. Nothing unforgettable. At least, that's what the world has taught him to believe. He's 11 years old, small for his age, with eyes that have learned to watch quietly before speaking. Marcus lives in a cramped apartment with his grandmother, a woman whose love is endless, but whose resources are not. She works long hours, and Marcus learned early how to wait, how to manage, how to get by without asking for much. He knows what hunger feels like. Not the kind that comes from missing one meal, but the kind that settles in and teaches patience. He knows what it means to wear the same jacket for years, to stretch shoes one more winter, to pretend the cold doesn't hurt as much as it does. And more than anything, Marcus knows what it feels like to be invisible. Teachers overlook him. Strangers look through him. The world moves past him without slowing down. Tonight, he's out on a small errand. Nothing special. Picking up something simple. Maybe hoping to earn a few dollars helping someone carry bags. Maybe just waiting for his grandmother to finish her shift before they head home together. Christmas isn't a day of gifts for Marcus. It's a day of quiet survival. Around him, the city feels like another universe. Laughter spills onto the sidewalks. Decorations sparkle from every corner. People rush past with shopping bags, wrapped presents, warm drinks in their hands. Joy feels loud, abundant, untouchable, and just a few steps away from all that light stands the little girl. She was holding her mother's hand just minutes ago. One distraction, one crowded turn, and suddenly that hand was gone. She doesn't know her address. She doesn't have a phone, or if she did, it's dead now. All she knows is that she's alone, and the world suddenly feels too big. Two children, two very different lives, about to meet in one moment that will change everything. Marcus stands still for a moment longer, watching the girl from a distance. Her cries come in short bursts now, like she's trying to be brave, but doesn't know how much longer she can hold it together. The crowd keeps moving around her, coats brushing past, boots crunching snow, voices blending into noise. Every instinct Marcus has tells him to stay where he is. Stay quiet. Stay unnoticed. That's how he survived this long. He takes one step forward, then another. His heart beats faster with every move, not because he's brave, but because he's scared. Scared of doing the wrong thing. Scared of being blamed. Scared of adults asking questions he doesn't know how to answer. He's learned that trouble finds kids like him easily. When he finally reaches her, he doesn't touch her right away. He lowers himself a little so he doesn't seem so tall, so threatening. His voice comes out soft, careful, almost practiced. "Hey," he says gently. "It's okay. I'm here." The girl looks up at him with red eyes and shaking lips. She doesn't stop crying, but she doesn't pull away either. Marcus takes that as permission to keep going. "Did you lose your mom?" he asks. She nods, gripping the torn mitten tighter like it's the only thing keeping her steady. Marcus glances around the street again. Still no one stopping. Still no one paying attention. For a second, the thought hits him hard. I could walk away right now. No one would stop him. No one would even notice. The cold bites deeper into his fingers as he makes a decision. He pulls the scarf from around his own neck, the one thing keeping his chest warm, and wraps it carefully around the girl's shoulders. It's old, a little frayed, but it's warm. When he places it on her, her breathing slows just a little. "You're cold," he says simply. "This'll help." She whispers a small thank you, barely louder than the snow hitting the ground. Marcus feels the cold immediately, but he doesn't reach to take it back. Instead, he holds out his hand, palm open, steady but unsure. The girl looks at it for a second before placing her tiny fingers in his. "I won't leave you," he says, the words surprising even himself as they come out. He means them, completely. And in that moment, on a night full of noise and lights and people rushing past, a boy who has almost nothing chooses to give the one thing that matters most. He stays. They begin to walk, slowly at first, weaving through the crowded street as snow continues to fall around them. Marcus keeps the girl close, her small hand wrapped tightly in his, as if letting go might make her disappear. People move in every direction, laughing, talking, rushing so focused on their own plans that the two children barely register. To most of the crowd, they're just part of the background. They pass a security guard standing near a brightly lit store entrance. Marcus glances up, hopeful for a second, but the guard's eyes slide right past him. He's watching the doors. Watching for theft, not for lost children. Marcus keeps walking. Shoppers brush past with heavy bags swinging at their sides. A woman nearly bumps into the girl, mutters an apology without stopping. A man steps around them, assuming someone else has already handled the situation. In a crowd this big, responsibility feels shared, so no one takes it. Marcus tightens his grip. He feels the girl's hand trembling in his. Every time someone moves too close, she squeezes harder, afraid of being swallowed by the crowd again. Marcus adjusts his pace to match hers, careful not to pull, careful not to rush. He positions himself slightly in front of her, instinctively shielding her from elbows and rushing feet. "It's okay," he says quietly, again and again. "We're gonna find her." As they walk, he starts talking not because he knows exactly what to say, but because silence feels dangerous. He asks her name, her favorite color, what kind of candy she likes. Each answer comes a little clearer than the last. Her breathing steadies, her steps grow less hesitant. She tells him about the lights she liked the most, the big tree she saw earlier. Marcus listens closely, nodding, responding, pretending this is something he does all the time. Inside, his stomach knots with worry. Outside, he stays calm. He refuses to let go of her hand, even when it starts to ache from the cold. Even when his fingers go numb, letting go isn't an option anymore. At some point, the girl looks up at him, not crying now, just searching his face. "Are you gonna stay?" she asks. Marcus doesn't hesitate. "Yeah," he says. "I got you." And for the first time since she got lost, the girl believes it. As they walk, Marcus's mind drifts, slipping backward into memories he knows too well. Memories of mornings when breakfast wasn't guaranteed, of pretending he wasn't hungry because admitting it never changed anything. He remembers sitting in class with his stomach growling, counting the minutes until lunch, hoping the teacher wouldn't call on him while his focus drifted somewhere between hunger and exhaustion. He remembers teachers saying his name wrong or not saying it at all. Report cards filled with phrases like has potential and needs improvement, as if effort alone could fix circumstances no one bothered to ask about. He remembers raising his hand once, twice, then learning to stop when no one noticed. Being quiet became easier than being disappointed. Marcus has learned what it feels like to be judged before being known. The way adults watch him more closely in stores. The way people cross the street when they see him walking alone at night. He knows the weight of assumptions, how they settle on your shoulders and stay there. That's why this moment matters. Because Marcus knows fear. He knows the kind that creeps in when you don't know what's coming next. He knows what it feels like to be lost, not just in a crowd, but in a world that doesn't seem built for you. Standing beside this girl, holding her hand, he recognizes that same fear in her eyes. Different life. Same feeling. He glances down at her and starts talking again, softer this time. I live with my grandma, he says. She works a lot. The girl listens closely, her steps matching his. She makes the best cornbread, he adds with a small smile. Even when we don't have much, she always makes sure it's warm. She asks him what Christmas is like at his house. Marcus thinks for a moment before answering. It's quiet, he says honestly. We don't do big gifts or anything. Sometimes we just watch TV. Sometimes we just sleep. He doesn't say this to make her feel bad. He says it because it's true, because he's learned that honesty can be comforting. But it's still okay, he adds. We're together. The girl nods, absorbing his words. In that shared honesty, something shifts. She isn't just being helped anymore. She's being understood. And for Marcus, helping her feels less like a choice now, and more like something he was always meant to do. Time stretches longer than Marcus expects. Minutes blur together as they circle blocks and retrace steps, the snow falling thicker now, sticking to hair and eyelashes. The cold grows sharper, biting through his thin jacket, creeping into his bones. His fingers ache, stiff from holding the girl's hand for so long, but he doesn't loosen his grip. The girl slows down. Her steps falter. Her shoulders start to shake. I want my mom, she cries, louder this time, the fear rushing back all at once. The scarf slips slightly from her shoulders as she sobs, and Marcus's heart drops. He kneels in front of her again, pulling the scarf back into place with clumsy, numb hands. I know, he says quickly. I know. We're still looking. She's looking for you too. But doubt creeps in, quiet and dangerous. What if I messed up? What if he should have stayed in one place? What if someone thinks he's doing something wrong? His chest tightens as those thoughts stack up. He's just a kid. A poor kid. And he knows how easily things can be misunderstood. That's when the shadow falls over them. A uniformed officer stands nearby, watching them closely. Another security guard slows his steps. Their eyes move from the crying girl to Marcus, then back again. Marcus feels his throat go dry. What's going on here? One of them asks. The girl clings to Marcus's jacket. Marcus freezes for half a second too long. His mind races. He knows this feeling, the way adults look at him with suspicion first, question second. He tries to explain, words tumbling over each other. She's lost, he says. I'm just helping her find her mom. The officer asks more questions. Where did he find her? How long have they been together? Why didn't he go to security sooner? The questions feel sharp, heavy, pressing down on him. Marcus can feel people slowing down, watching now. The girl starts crying harder. I didn't do anything wrong, Marcus says quietly, panic creeping into his voice. For a terrifying moment, he wonders if this is where it all falls apart. If helping her will somehow turn into trouble, He can't escape. Then the girl looks up, tears streaming, and says through her sobs, "He helped me. He didn't leave." The words hang there. The tension eases just enough to breathe. Marcus exhales shakily, still holding her hand, praying that doing the right thing won't cost him everything. The air feels heavy as the officer steps back, scanning the crowd one more time. Then, through the swirl of falling snow and moving bodies, a voice cuts through high, frantic, breaking. "Anna?" The girl's head snaps up. Her eyes widen. "Mom!" A woman pushes through the crowd, panic written across her face. Her coat is unzipped, her hair undone, her breath uneven as if she's been running for miles. When she sees her daughter, she breaks into a sprint, dropping her shopping bags without a second thought. In seconds, she's on her knees, wrapping her arms around the girl so tightly it's as if she's afraid she might vanish again. "I'm here, baby. I've got you. I've got you," she repeats, tears spilling freely now. The girl sobs into her mother's shoulder, pointing back at Marcus with a shaking hand. "He helped me," she cries. "He stayed." The mother looks up, her eyes locking onto Marcus for the first time. For a moment, she just stares, taking in his thin jacket, his bare neck, the snow clinging to his sleeves. Then she stands and rushes toward him. "Oh my God," she says, her voice trembling. "Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much." Marcus feels suddenly exposed, unsure where to look. This wasn't why he stayed. This wasn't what he wanted. While the mother holds her daughter tight again, Marcus takes a small step backward, then another. He starts to turn away, ready to disappear back into the crowd the way he always does. "Wait," the woman calls out. Marcus stops. She approaches him gently this time. "What's your name?" she asks. "Marcus," he answers softly. She nods, committing it to memory. "Why did you help her?" she asks, as if she truly needs to understand. Marcus thinks for a second. He could explain everything. The cold, the fear, the way he knows what it feels like to be lost. But instead, he gives her the simplest truth. Because she was scared. The mother's eyes fill again. She places a hand over her mouth, overcome. In that moment, Marcus doesn't look invisible at all. He looks like exactly who the world needed that night. The moment doesn't end when the tears stop. It deepens. As the officer steps away and the crowd slowly resumes its rhythm, the mother introduces herself. Her name carries weight. Marcus doesn't recognize it at first, but others nearby do. She's a well-known business owner in the neighborhood, someone who sponsors local events, someone whose name is printed on donation boards and community flyers. The kind of person people expect help from, not the kind who expects help herself. She listens as the girl explains everything again, how Marcus stayed, how he gave her his scarf, how he didn't leave even when she cried. The mother's eyes return to Marcus, this time with a different kind of focus. Not gratitude alone, but curiosity. She asks where he lives, who he lives with. Marcus answers carefully, honestly. He tells her about his grandmother, about waiting for her after work, about nights when dinner is simple or late or sometimes quiet. He doesn't dramatize it. He doesn't ask for anything. He just tells the truth. The woman nods, absorbing every word. "You're freezing," she says suddenly, noticing his bare neck. Without hesitation, she wraps her own coat around his shoulders. Not as charity, as instinct. She insists they all go somewhere warm. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. A nearby cafe opens its doors a little wider that night. Marcus sits at a table with steam rising from a bowl in front of him. His hands shake, not from fear this time, but from warmth returning too fast. The girl sits beside him, calm now, safe. When it's time to leave, the mother arranges a ride home for Marcus. A real one. Safe. No questions asked. Before he steps away, she kneels so she's eye level with him. "I want to help," she says. But only if you let me do it right. She doesn't offer cash. She offers connection, support, school resources, a way forward. And most importantly, she gives him her card and her word. Marcus takes it, unsure what tomorrow will bring. But something has already changed. Because the miracle wasn't the ride, or the meal, or even the promise. The miracle was this. For the first time in a long time, someone truly saw him. And once you are seen, everything else becomes possible. Weeks pass and winter slowly loosens its grip on the city. The snow melts from the sidewalks, but something else has begun to change, to something quieter, deeper. Marcus's life doesn't transform overnight, but it shifts, subtly at first, then unmistakably. It starts with follow-through. The woman keeps her word. Not with grand gestures, but with consistency. A meeting with a school counselor. A conversation with his grandmother that feels respectful, not judgmental. Marcus finds himself sitting in rooms where people listen when he speaks. Teachers start noticing him, not as a problem to manage, but as a kid with potential that's finally being taken seriously. Support arrives in ways Marcus isn't used to. Warm meals become regular. Afternoons feel less uncertain. Someone helps make sure his grandmother doesn't have to carry everything alone. There's no spotlight, no announcement. Just steady hands helping lift a weight that was never meant for one family to carry by themselves. And Marcus changes too. He stands a little straighter. He raises his hand in class again. He talks more, smiles more. The quiet boy who once tried to disappear begins to understand something powerful, that his kindness mattered, that he mattered. Looking back, people might call what happened that night a miracle. Right place, right time, Christmas magic. But the truth is simpler. It wasn't coincidence. It was compassion meeting timing. It was a boy who knew fear choosing not to walk past it. It was someone with almost nothing giving the one thing that can't be bought presents. Courage. Care. That single decision didn't just reunite a child with her mother. It rewrote a future that was quietly drifting off course. It reminded a community that help doesn't always come from the loudest voice or the fullest wallet. Sometimes it comes from the coldest hands reaching out anyway. The smallest act, one step forward, one promise kept, can echo for years. Kindness doesn't require wealth. It requires awareness. It requires stopping. And so the story ends where it began, on a busy street, with people walking past. Only now, the question belongs to all of us. If you were walking past that night, would you have stopped?